I took my time and tested a lot of cases. But these 12 are what I consider the best cases for the iPhone 12 right now. So let's check it out. First one goes to the sponsor of this video, Casetify, my favorite design and stylish case category for the iPhone 12, as they carry a whole range to choose from with custom options too, and offering a bunch of wicked collabs as well. Like easily my favorite, the USPS lineup, because there's something very gratifying about repping the truck that all Americans can instantly recognize. And the blueprint vibe definitely satisfies the technical side of my brain. This is their Impact series, and the clear frame highlights what makes it so special. It's this rubber-like substance they call Chi-Tech that's designed to absorb all the abuse so your new iPhone 12 won't have to. As a case itself, there isn't much to complain about. Clicky buttons, large mute marker cutout, although a little tight around back to keep the lenses safe, it does the job when smacked around, and that's just a trade-off for having one of the slimmest tough cases available for the iPhone 12, making it easily manageable one-handed still, and that matte finish print around back feels way better to feel up than the glossy finish of the iPhone. Plus, that does mean it's still MagSafe charging compatible too. The slim shell around back is compensated with the thick bezels out front, which easily handles being tossed onto a table, and when combined with the internal padding, a majority of your daily phone abuse too. Or is that just me? If you think that isn't enough though, their Ultra series bumps it up a notch. Get it? Because they add these rubber bumper corners. You can literally hear the difference when dropped, as it absorbs most of the impact before it even reaches the iPhone. So we had to give it the rage test, when you've just had enough for the day and toss your phone across your very clean living room. Wabam. But I know what you're really wondering, if it can handle this. Boing? Yeah, like a champ, but why not? It's basically like bouncing a ball. And yes, I can see the irony of this back design after seeing it do this. But no damage anywhere. Who would have known adding these knee pads to your iPhone 12 would do so well? Anyways, the point of the case itself is a great starting point, but where it excels is this, as they even have the perfect collab for those that really love ketchup. Seriously. Ketchup or mustard though? Comment down below. Now with any tough case, it goes through quite a bit of dings and dongs, so I wanted to make sure the prints themselves could handle all that too, and even after digging into it with my keys, yeah, no chipping or scratching on the print. Apparently they also use the toughest paint out there too. It doesn't even end there. If you're a germaphobe, the cases have an antimicrobial coating, basically meaning you can feel confident when handing your phone over to your nasty friend who never washes his hands after using the toilet. So if you want to spice up your new iPhone 12, visit casetify.com/accessorize me for 20% off. Yeah. Now y'all know my actual name. Now for anyone that likes to show off their love for all things Apple, there's bumper cases. And hands down, nothing is better than the RhinoShield Mod NX series bumper cases. These are essentially cases with the whole backs missing. This means you get the joy of feeling up your actual iPhone on your fingertips, while adding an extra layer of protection just around the edges. Unfortunately, to achieve that, they add a pretty hefty lip around both sides of the iPhone. Great to keep the iPhone 12 lifted off any surfaces though, but a slight trade-off as you will feel thicker edges when in use. But one of the beauties of RhinoShield though is if you're ever bored of how it looks, the buttons are removable and you can customize with a range of colors. Like maybe you want to rep the Portugal flag colors. Now you can without buying a whole new case. That's not all, the back rim can be swapped out too, giving you quite a few color combinations to choose from on a daily basis. And if you find you're going to be doing something a little messier, you do still have the ability to go full coverage too. Combine that with their library of designs to choose from as well, that's a 2-for-1 case deal. Now RhinoShield is known for their drop protection, and just because this lacks a rare end, doesn't mean they skimped out on their shock spread material too. Personally though, as much as I love getting fingerprints all over my iPhone, I'd combine this with a skin like from dbrand for some added scratch resistance, making it the ultimate customized phone to your own taste. Like if you're a big fan of Wiz Khalifa's 2010 hit single, Black and Yellow. This next one is a whole ecosystem you're buying into. The mobile collection from Peak Design, currently being funded on Kickstarter, and let me tell you, it's got the most potential on this list thanks to this tiny square in the middle. As a case though, it's off to a good start with a cloth-like nylon shell that kind of feels like you're holding a bag of some sort, and a surprisingly thin case combined with the matte rubber edges makes holding this case a breeze. It's got clicky buttons, proper cutouts, and coverage for the camera around back as well. All great stuff you expect from a case, but let's get to the exciting stuff. I've got a few options here, but they've got way more ways to mount your iPhone as well. So starting with this, their 3M mounted car mount with an adjustable adjustable ball head, their mounting system is very similar to MagSafe. They use a ring of magnets that allows every mount to just pop in place. And as a car mount, it can handle quite a bit of turbulence given it's not locked in. For more strenuous and daring activities like riding a tricycle, the bike mount offers a locking mechanism that I can confirm means your iPhone isn't going to fly off mid-ride on its own. I personally would love to see the locking option on all their mounts given how easy it is to use, but even easier is their wall mounts. Just a flat mount you stick anywhere and wha-bam. You can read the news, watch a recipe, you do you, hands-free now. And the magnets are strong enough to mount in any orientation too. Now where it really gets mouth-watering though is the tripod attachment. Yeah, a whole tripod inside this credit card size like plate. It's made with aluminum so it doesn't feel cheap at all, and combined with their magnetic mount, it stays in place when you need it to, but is still quick and easy to remove when you're done. So flipping out the legs, they've incorporated a ball mount system that allows you to angle your phone in any which way. First off, as a general phone stand. You can watch a movie, take a call, or keep your kids busy for a few minutes. You know the drill. But when it comes to using it as a tripod, the legs flip open with rubber feet to give it some grip, then you just pick an angle and alakazam. It's also advanced enough that in case you want some extreme angles, a dedicated hex tool is built in so you can tighten the ball head and legs too, which is such a peak design thing to do as it stays hidden away when not in use. But this tripod alone for me is enough to invest into the ecosystem. When I'm out and about, my phone is my main camera, and having a dependable tripod I can slip into my front pocket is super convenient. Plus, even if you have another case that you really love, they offer a universal mount to stick onto any case too. Anyways, the bezel combined with the thick rubber around the case means it can handle your daily abuse too, and Peak Design is even working to get their system compatible with Apple's MagSafe accessories as well, which honestly just makes me even more excited for this. For anyone eyeing an iPhone card case, the Distil Union Wally case has been a channel favorite since the beginning, not only because of the amazing team behind the brand, but their integrated pull tab, because just like that, you have instant access to everything. Plus, when it's all stored away, it doesn't look like you have any cards inside at all. It just looks like a clean leather case. And leather it is, wrapping around the whole back and edges of your iPhone 12. Plus, they've even got metallic button covers, similar to what you'd find on Apple leather cases, so no complaint that they've included it here too. The case itself is thick enough around back, but the added card bump gives your lenses an extra layer of height over tabletops too. The pocket can store about 3 cards comfortably. You can go ham and add some bills too, but once the leather is stretched, it ain't going back to anything less. So you can store a license, credit card, and transit pass. They ain't going anywhere in my scientific shake tests. It's no tough case though, but offers a lip around the front screen. This case definitely isn't the case for you if you have butterfingers for days, although the added backpack does sort of double as some added impact protection. Finally, do note with any card case, you probably won't be able to slow charge your phone anymore. This next one ensures you won't ever drop your phone, unless you really suck at holding things. My grippy case of choice is, well, the dbrand grip case. Come on, it says it in the name. It's an all-around hard black shell, but they've integrated these rubber racing strips along the edges that give your fingers something to rub up against. They've even textured the buttons that do offer a very clicky response, and just proper cutouts for the rest of the phone, keeping everything in the clear when smacked around. Alongside the rubber strips though, the whole edge has a sandy-like texture that is quite pleasant to feel up to, and everything is packed in a fairly slim design with a thick lip around the top and bottom of the case, leaving the sides lowered for easier swiping action. But that's just the nitty-gritty details. What makes this case special is the fact that they offer a whole range of back skins to customize your case. Fancy honeycomb designs, black camo, and just a plethora of happy pastel flavors to choose from. My favorite though goes to their collaboration with Jerry Riggs Everything, their Teardown series. And I have a feeling that if you're a geek as well, you probably prefer this too. Now, although it's a case that can take your everyday abuse, the point of a grippy case is that it's basically stuck to your hand. A preventative measure to begin with from dropping your phone in the first place. Plus, with this teardown skin, you know exactly where to align it to slow charge too. When it comes to slim cases, the Spigen Thin Fit has been my go-to for the last few generations of iPhones. They use this almost sticky-like soft matte black texture that just feels amazing to hold on to. You really need to feel it yourself to understand. But this year, they've also updated it with dual materials, opting for a softer rubber edge around the front for some added protection. But honestly, that doesn't even matter when holding the iPhone 12 feels this wonderful. The buttons are covered and clicky, and the case is so slim, they've had to include a dedicated lip for the camera around back. The same story around front with that rubber bumper as well. Great for handling being tossed onto a table, but by no means would I consider this remotely a tough case. It is, however, one that you won't want to let go of, and honestly, just feel up all day. I'd also borderline call it a grippy case as well, as this probably ain't slipping out of your hand. Of course, given how thin this case is, MagSafe works just fine too. Cha-ching. Now that was slim, but this is ultra slim. The Latercase from Unbox Therapy is so thin, well, you almost feel ripped off. Until you remember, that's the whole point. It's literally like you're adding a thick carbon fiber skin onto your phone that offers scratch resistance at best. They even cut out as much case as possible, as you can see with all the buttons out in the open and the full bottom being cut out as well. That thankfully is lifted just enough from the corners of the case to keep your iPhone from licking your table. But in the end, it's a case that's meant to not feel like a case. Made of carbon fiber all around, it's just as thick as the buttons of the iPhone and seriously paper thin. But I know there are some of you out there that hate bulking up and just want an added layer of scratch resistance, maybe some added grip over the glossy texture of the iPhone 12. So this ultra slim case is the perfect option if you don't want to bother with the skin. Just a reminder, if it wasn't obvious, there is no drop protection whatsoever. This is not for you butterfingers out there. The upside of such a thin case though, all MagSafe accessories will likely work just fine right out of the box. This one's for the creatives out there. For the owners of Moment lenses, the Moment Thin case is pretty much a must-have because, well, you need this plastic frame around the camera to use any of their lenses. The thin case is just their thin, flexible rubber shell though, but more than enough to accommodate these. They're very expensive lenses, but like they say, you get what you pay for. They're stored in a metal case with some beautiful glass, and sure, the iPhone 12 has an ultra-wide, but being able to utilize the 1x lens for a wide shot gives you better quality in low light, and like the fisheye, a pretty crazy angle in comparison. They've got a whole range of lenses to choose from too, but for the movie buffs, they even have a anamorphic lens that you can adapt regular filters onto as well, and it gives your iPhone 12 way more options to shoot in bright or reflective scenarios. Now let's say you don't even use their lenses. The frame around the camera also doubles as a great protective shell too. As a case itself though, it has a matte finish that's nice to hold and doesn't bulk up much. Plus, it's also MagSafe charging compatible too. I showed off this in a previous video, but it's seriously one of my favorite clear cases because of this. The Raptic Shield case has a metal frame around the whole edge, and this colorway basically transforms your iPhone 12 into a unicorn. If you insist on showing off your love for Apple, why not add some flair around it? As I highly doubt any other case around you will have an actual metal frame to support it. There's just something about holding onto metal that makes it feel like an actual tool in your hand too. The buttons are flush though, but this little nipple allows you to easily find it, and the camera is also covered and protected thanks to the thick bezel around the lenses too. Come on, you can't deny this looks really cool. And trust me, it feels just as rad too. There's a slight lip around the front, enough to keep your screen cleared on flat surfaces, but they also line the inside with these tiny air bubbles and add some extra padding around the corners. So for a clear case, it actually doubles as a decent tough case too. Now if a unicorn is too majestic for you, I get it. They do have other options to choose from as well. That's just as shiny and metallic. Plus, don't worry, they're all MagSafe compatible too. Now this one had me super excited when they announced it. The Otterbox Otter plus Pop Symmetry series case has the record for the longest name, but I mean, come on. A transparent pop socket built into a clear case. This is like the ultimate clear, grippy, tough case all in one. For the 2.5 people that live under a rock, a pop socket is basically a cone that you pop out and allows your fingers to squeeze onto something when using your phone. It's great for larger phones or if you have tiny hands, so you can reach corner to corner without pulling a muscle. Being built into the Otterbox Symmetry series case is a no-brainer. One of my favorite tough cases with plenty of coverage around front with that thick rubber bezel, but in the end, it's an Otterbox. We all know what it can do. However, in this case, all that protection is more of a backup, because with a pop socket built in, it's very unlikely you'll drop this case in the first place. And unlike you, it can do more than one thing, doubling as a stand to enjoy some hands-free videos after midnight. Now, if for some reason you don't appreciate all things cool, you can swap out the clear pop grip for any of their other grips, like this pop stash that can hold your Coca-Cola breath mints. Contradicting, but it actually tastes like Coke. Now, there is a slight trade-off for the added grip, as you lose the convenience to charge your phone slowly. Boo-hoo, I know, I can hear all 5 of you out there crying about it. This is another new and exciting case I came across in my testing. The Catalyst Vibe series is legit a vibe, mainly because they have this spinning wheel rocker, a tiny detail you'll barely use, but when you do, damn, it's fun. It's hard to categorize it because it's got a little bit of everything: carbon fiber military-like back design, impact absorbing features inside, and very textured edges with nice and clicky buttons too. The case covers your phone as you'd expect, and even where you didn't expect it, as they redirect the speakers to face forward, which I think is fantastically useful when you dock your phone vertically and your mic isn't all mumble jumbled. You know the struggle when FaceTiming. The textured edges are a little extreme, almost a little too sharp, but I kinda dig it in a non-kinky way. It's it's like a mini massage when you grip onto your iPhone 12 now. If you do still manage to drop it somehow, they've got these exterior air pockets that, when combined with the generous bezel around the screen, can handle quite a bit of abuse on the daily. You can feel the corner padding absorb every smack. Plus, for the ultimate drop protection, they even include a wrist lanyard, which should basically make it impossible to drop your phone now. That is, if you remember to actually put it on and off every time you pick it up. Finally, with all that packed in, the case is still surprisingly compatible with slow charging. Lastly, for anyone that can appreciate some leather, you couldn't have asked for more than on the Nomad rugged Folio case. Plus, not just any leather either. Horween leather. Wrapped around the whole front and back side, it's a leather lovers galore. For anyone that doesn't know though, Horween leather is just this thick leather that patinas so beautifully over time. And if you're gonna bulk up with a Folio case, it better be with the best of the best. Unlike other leather cases, they integrate it into a rugged case. This matte black frame around the edges, and don't worry, the volume buttons are still accessible through the leather spine, but it is a little tight on the inside otherwise, and the camera is covered too. In terms of the wallet, it's got a felt-lined interior with 3 quick access card slots that will inevitably bulk up your phone, but that's the trade-off for having cards hidden away while still being instantly accessible too. Plus, there's even a hidden cash pocket behind that. A perfect spot for your daily essentials. You know I wasn't gonna miss this. Now the other benefit of a Folio case, 360 degrees of coverage, which works perfectly with the thick Horween leather and rugged case. But on the off chance that the cover does flip open, there's still a bezel around the front screen to keep it lifted too. So be warned, it's about a 50-50 chance it lands with the cover closed, but that's where the rugged case kicks in to keep your iPhone 12 safe the rest of the way. I do highly recommend using a screen protector with this case and all the other cases as well, as the cards rubbing up against the screen may cause some micro scratches over time. So what case or cases are you rocking on your iPhone 12? Let me know in the comments down below. But that's it. I rest my cases.